Good morning and welcome back to a new video. Excited for our GD that we're going to be making some progress on and keep some progress going, hopefully. Try not to let things escalate. You know me, but we're going to make this one more relatable for you guys, do some how-to videos, and to start out, we need to get this thing torn apart. I'm just going to go ahead and get the motor pulled out of it, and I know some might think that's a little bit extreme, but with how many leaks are on this thing, it is going to be the best route to just pull the motor, assess everything. I had mentioned in the last video about pulling the heads off of it to do some bigger camshafts in it and springs and retainers from our boys over at Kelford. It has S1 cams in it, which are great for up to 500 horsepower and stock turbochargers, maybe some bolt-on stuff, obviously, to get up to 500 wheel horsepower. But for the turbo that we're going to be doing, they are a smaller camshaft. Would they work? Yes, but we're going to put a proper camshaft in it for what we're going to be doing. So today is going to be focused on how to remove the engine in your Subaru. And it is going to cover most of the Subaru platforms. Obviously, FA being a little bit different, but relative if you just take it in different terms. So to start out, you're going to see, got the car in the air. Step number one that I always do is obviously get it on the lift, drain the coolant. Because then while the coolant's draining, you can start disconnecting things, and by the time you're ready to pull the radiator out, it's already drained. Next step, we're going to drain the oil in this thing and cut the oil filter. This engine got put in at 110,000 miles from what I can tell on the receipts that came with the car, and it's at 179,000 miles now. So tons of miles on it, just shy of 70,000 miles. It has an IAG stage 2.5 closed deck and some built heads, as I just mentioned on here. So we're going to see how the engine health is and start that out by cutting that oil filter. I do plan on pulling the oil pan. It has a Killerby oil pan. Looks like someone whiffed on putting the dipstick in at some point in its life. Really common. So I'm going to talk to you guys about putting that in, what the proper way is. When we pull the oil pan, we'll be able to see if there's any metal in there as well. But when you're doing an oil change, the easiest way is obviously just to cut the filter open. So I'm going to drain the oil in this thing, cut the filter open, show you guys there, and then tell you guys the next steps. So as you can see, this thing is leak central under here. Everything is leaking. There's that dipstick tube. That looks like obviously someone has some issues getting that in. Most cases what happens with this is the O-ring gets rolled over and doesn't actually seal, and then it just leaks, obviously. Really easy to make that not happen. I'll show you guys when we get to there. But to start out, let's get this oil drained. All right, since this one had a American plug there, I didn't have a 3/8 over here for an Allen, so I'm just gonna take the temp sensor out for now. I know I could have took the nut off there, but this will work too. See how dark this oil is, or if it's clean. Coming out. Oh yeah, that's pretty dark. It's got some color to it, but it's pretty dark. Damn, just pissing on the other end of the connector there. All right, let's let that drain, and then get this oil filter out. Let's see if I'm strong enough today. Holy, there you go. I thought someone just reefed that thing on there. Does have a decent oil filter on it. OEM Subaru. Now, I know everybody's going to talk about oil filters. Down in the comments, guess what, guys? Oil filter ain't there to save the day. If your motor is fucked, that shit's fucked. Don't matter. I mean, now, obviously don't go put a fucking Fram on here, but end of the day, Wix, OEM, K&N, they all work. Yeah, the oil's pretty dark. I don't know when this thing had an oil change on it. It's got some color to it when you get down here. But let this stuff drain, and then let's cut that filter. All right, I got this thing cut. Obviously, one person here can't hold that and cut it. I just pulled the filter out of it, so you're curious what's inside your Subaru filter. This is what's in there. I have not looked in here, so we're gonna look together and see if this engine is good. I'm gonna pour a little bit out of here. That way we can see, obviously, the bottom. That's what we're trying to look at, is the bottom of this. And looking through the camera, stuff is looking good. Let's pull this out. Yeah, boys. No metal. That is a great sign. I'm trying to get the best lighting for you I can there. Not a single speck of metal in the oil. Good job, IAG. Just shy of 70,000 miles. That shit looks great. That makes me really happy, guys. That puts this build off to a great start. Like I said, I didn't really want to have much downtime. Now, I could whip up an engine pretty quick for this thing, but now that we don't have to, fingers crossed, I have yet to pull the pan, but the filter looks great. So that is a great step in the right direction. Fuck. Now I pulled the filter off, and I don't got one to sit up there, and this thing's going to just keep leaking. Didn't think about that one. So put the drain plug back in it, and we'll move up to what we need to do next. Obviously, I got the coolant done on it, so let's talk about what we need to do next. Okay, so coolant is drained. Did that step number one. If you guys know, on this GD chassis, it is kind of a pain in the ass because no matter what you do, there's no real good way to do it. With this U-frame that's in here, shit goes everywhere. So that's done. Oil's obviously drained. I'll have to figure out what to sit on an oil filter because this thing's going to keep leaking. Next step, I take off the motor mount nuts on here. So we get those out of our way. Don't need to do the transmission ones unless you have a 100% solid mount there. You can just leave those. I'll knock out the downpipe bracket here, downpipe to the cap back. A little bit different, obviously, than your stock location stuff, but that stuff is the same. Up top will be a little bit different. I'll leave that there, and then we can go up top. So I'm going to pop off those engine mount nuts, cap back, that brace, and then we'll have to get probably the external gate off. I am going to leave the turbo kit on the engine because, obviously, as you guys saw in the last video, it's got some creative welding on here. No real way to unbolt that unless I sawzall it, and I don't feel like sawzalling it, so I'm going to just pull it out as one. So let's get these motor mounts off, go up top. Here we got the car back down. As I mentioned, let's act as if we just started draining the radiator, even though you guys know this thing's all the way drained. Next step, obviously, get the battery out. Unhook the battery, get that unhooked. That way we don't have anything arcing. But that would be the next step I would do on this car, was get the battery unhooked. From there, I would start disconnecting on the front of the engine here. We're going to get this cover off, get the alternator undone, get the power steering pump, AC pump, get all that undone, get the belts off, get them unbolted. Start getting the radiator out after that. We should have had plenty of time for this to drain. So obviously getting the radiator out is pretty straightforward. Lower hose, upper hose, your mounts up here, and then you'll have our overflow tank up here, fill tank. We'll take that off, get that out, and then from there we'll have pretty good access to the rest of the engine, and I'll show you guys from there. Next will be obviously the intercooler piping, but I'll show you guys when we get there. Look who joined the party and then proceeded to fuck my floor.
Yeah, this shit's wet.
So much coolant everywhere. Note to yourself, obviously put the hose down again before you rip the radiator out. Making progress here. Like I told you guys, battery, radiator. Now we're working on accessories. Obviously you can tell I got the intercooler piping now. I've already started getting the intake manifold unbolted. Being that this thing is rotated, there's not much to it. I prefer to do it. It's like an engine stand right here. Makes it easy. Pull the manifold off. Makes it easy to get it out. So that's what I'm working on right now. Almost all done. Just need to pull these accessories off here. Pull off the AOS back there. I have a black one for it. So I'm going to be putting that on here. And then, yeah, should be straightforward from there. Motor will be about ready to come out. All right, intake manifold's all off. Front accessories are loose now. Got to pull the bumper because we got to get this pipe out. Obviously, to pull the motor, it's going to hit it. And we have a new intercooler coming for it. Same ETS intercooler. This kit does not have a blow-off valve, so I went ahead and just bought a whole new entire kit because Justino over here needed one. So he gets my hand-me-down.
Spare parts build.
Yeah, which you guys will be seeing here shortly. So you're going to see it come apart and obviously this come off, but we'll get into that into the next video. Got this thing up in the air, getting the bumper pulled off. Justin has been struggling. I ain't got the bumper I've got.
Go look at it. There's about 6 different bolts. That's the right for a tool, every bolt.
Well, what the fuck you pulling my splitters off?
I didn't. That was
I guess, yeah. We got that on there. Gotta get the bumper off, get the pipe off, we can get the core off, downpipes off. Bell housing bolts are out. Thing is ready to get out of here. So as soon as the bumper's off, it's game on. Here we are. Obviously you can see the engine hoist is on there. Shit just about fell out. Don't know what was going on there. Shit happens when you pick up the camera. Obviously I got the turbocharger off of there. I have opinions I will not say about that. And the turbo, not so much that, but the turbo itself. Yeah, I'm not surprised that it's blowing out down there. Years of shit going on, stock motor mounts. I mean, it takes a toll on it. But getting the engine out, you guys saw, got the intake manifold off, got to pull the starter out. Do not forget to pull the pin out for your STI transmission. WRX is a bit easier. You can just pull the motor out. These have a clutch fork. They have a pin that goes in the side. 10 millimeter Allen up to 06. 07 plus is all 14 mil. Should be right? I'm pretty sure.
05 WRX also has that.
Yeah, it's been a while. Motor is ready to go. I like to put a jack stand underneath the transmission. I put it on the drain pan. Just be careful. Obviously, you can crack those. I've seen it in the past of people doing it, so just be careful. But I sit it on there. Then I use the engine hoist, pull this thing out. One thing to note before I forget, look at this crank sensor. Aftermarket, and if it picks it up, it's cracked. It's broken. So I don't know if this thing had some issues with doing a pull. I never even really drove it down the road. I drove it down the road and turned around, came back, didn't do anything because it had such a blown out manifold. There was no reason to go out. I would have put this on the dyno and done a pull, but I wasn't fixing this shit. So time to get the motor out. There we have it. She's out. Now you guys can see it's leaking already. Look at all the oil on top of this thing. Everything on here is leaking. Even one of the case bolts, not bolts, but plug for oil galley, that thing's leaking. There's oil everywhere on this thing. So that is the reason why we pulled it out. I was told it had JDM Pro Seals. It looks like an OEM head gasket to me at a quick glance. I'm told it's an IAG closed deck. We'll see here probably real soon. Probably in this video. I think I'm just going to go ahead and pull this thing apart, ACT clutch, and get the rest of the turbo kit off here. Which, there is our exhaust leak.
Just a little.
Completely blowing out. Motor mounts are done. We got some new ones for it. Alright, let's get the clutch popped off. I'm going to get on the engine stand. And I'm going to just tear this thing down in this video for you guys, not try to drag it out. So we'll pull the valve cover, see if it does have built heads, which I can see valves and bronze valve guides in the intake runner. So most likely it does. And then we'll kind of get an idea from there. Well, guys, it's panning out to what the invoices said. So that's always a good day. AirP 620 plus head studs. It looks like 11 millimeters. And it did have S1 camshafts in there, which I don't know why anyone buys S1s, but someone bought S1s. They're the same price as S2s and S3s, and I mean, they were probably pretty fitting to the Borg Warner that was on it. That would never make power if it ever tried. But getting these things off, and we'll see if this baby's closed deck. Fingers crossed. All right, big moment. Let's see.
Well, please.
Come on. We got OEM head gasket on there. Look at that. Closed deck, baby. Yeah. Looks pretty clean.
Not bad. Looks like a pump.
Looks good. Nice. That's a win. Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. A lot of progress. This thing drove in here this morning. Now it's already all apart, and I have the bare short block here. A lot of questionable things about it. It looks like it's been apart recently. It looks like it got head gaskets done on it recently, which doesn't really make sense for all the leaks that were on this thing. But there was definitely some questionable work on it. I'll show you guys the block when we end this out, and you'll see what I mean. The pistons being really clean was something that was kind of off for being the mileage that's on it. Obviously being on pump gas, there's gonna be a lot of carbon buildup. These just were too clean. And when you look at the piston, you can tell someone has used a Scotch-Brite on the surface for not only the head gasket, but on the piston as well. So meaning someone was in there really recent, which for all the other issues in the car doesn't really make sense. And how bad it was leaking oil everywhere. I mean, I guess weird shit happens. So that's gonna end it out here for this video. Pretty excited for the next video to come out for this thing. A lot of progress, trying to put a lot into videos for you guys to show you more in depth on how to work on your Subaru. So ending this out here, as you can see, I got the last head on the ground. It is tore apart. It is an IAG closed deck motor. You can see what I mean about the pistons, how they look Scotch-Brited there, which you can see on the other side better where I cleaned it. And you can see where it's gonna be hard to pick up. It's shiny and then it's not, and it definitely looks like it was Scotch-Brited. So I'm not sure. I took brake cleaner this thing, cleaned the hell out of it, got a lot of the oil off of it. Obviously it doesn't look like the short block is actually new anytime soon. I mean, look at that plate. That was already like that before we got it out. I didn't pry on that. So that's the engine number if you want to see, number 2749, I think is what that says there at a quick glance. So gonna wrap it up here, guys. Let me know what you think of our GD. Bye bye. See you guys in the next video.